Welcome to today's webinar, the Merta Pool Integration Process in Aquatic Facilities. Before we get started, I would like to remind everyone to keep your microphones muted throughout the duration of the webinar. And for a better connection, please be sure to keep your cameras off. In addition, on the Microsoft Teams app, there is an option to take part throughout the webinar by writing any questions in the chat using this function, or raising your hand to show you would like to ask a question or make a comment using this function. If you do raise your hand, please wait until you have been prompted to unmute your mic. Merta Pools was founded in 1961 and is located almost equal distances from both Milan and Venice. It is from here that throughout its 60-year history, Merta Pools has taken on a large number of challenging projects all around the globe. Whether it's partnering with swimming federations around the world, or building pools on the top floors of skyscraper buildings, or even creating an interactive splash pad on a cruise liner, Mirta is always up for the task. During the pandemic, we came up with many ways to stay in touch with our partners around the world, MIWAEC being one of them. The Myrtha International Webinars for AEC initiative is a series of educational webinars from Myrtha to international key players around the world in the architectural, engineering, and construction industry. Today, we're happy to have our guest speaker, none other than architect Clément Manchon. Clément, a friend and ally of Myrtha, will present today on why the prestigious French architectural firm Chaban collaborates with Myrtha. So, without further ado, I hand the floor to Export Manager Ricardo Bersi to go over the Myrtha highlights.
Good morning to everyone. Nice seeing you here, and thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. So before we actually leave the floor to Mr. Clément, we will show you what the technology that we're actually discussing today. So I hope everyone can see clearly the screen. What is the Merta technology? It is a modular panel system that is self-supporting. So the only thing that we do require is a concrete slab. On top of that, our modular system can be positioned freely. So whatever shape, form you would like to obtain, this can be done with the Merta technology. We start with the concrete slab, which has to be provided by a general contractor. And on top of that, we have a base frame, which is the one that you see here being assembled by a technician. The base frame is fixed to the concrete slab through chemical anchors, which link the structure to the concrete slab itself. After this, the modular panels, which consist of panels of 90 centimeters in width, are positioned on the base frame. What is a Merta panel? A Merta panel is constituted by stainless steel of marine grade 441, which has a thickness of 2 millimeters. The peculiarity of this system is to have a laminated PVC. It's a rigid PVC, which is directly laminated onto the panel. This PVC is 0.5 millimeters in thickness, giving the panel a total of 2.5 millimeters. Since it's a permanent bonding, there is no possibility of delamination or fault from the panel itself. What we obtain here then is actually the two most resistant materials stainless steel and C laminated that provide a very durable. Sorry, we had another technical issue. I'm back online. The protective film that you see, so the panel doesn't get damaged during the transport of the materials to the site. So as we were saying, the Merta panel is actually a self-supporting system. It's constituted by the panel itself, as we have seen previously. with the buttresses which are linked onto the concrete floor. And this provides us a very sturdy system which can be also made anti-seismic. Because of the lightweight properties of the Merta panels, it's 1/5 of a concrete pool. It can be easily transported in any location and can be easily installed even in the most difficult environments, such as sandy beaches, sorry, excuse me for that one, or on top of a building.
And what would typically go behind the Merta panel, as in this image here? What would be?
Well, you have two possibilities, Lenny. One of them is not having anything, so you create an inspection corridor all around the pool, so even all your pipelines go into that corridor. Or you can backfill, so you put gravel behind the panel, and then you just do a usual outdoor pool as you would normally have. So you have the two possibilities. If anyone else wants to join in into the questions, please feel free to ask, and we will give you the floor in order to ask the question that you would like to submit. For the floor, we have different types of finishes. So we have a textured PVC, which can have a different type of image to be provided to the pool, which means that we can have like a kind of stone finish, still in the quality of the PVC with all the advantages of having PVC rather than tiling. We can have the Merta Evolution Pvc, which is specifically designed and engineered by Merta Pools. It's a very thick PVC, so we don't like to call it a liner. It's 2.2 millimeters in thickness, and it is reinforced, so there is no risk of deformation like you would normally have on a liner. Recently, we have introduced the Merta skin, and it's constituted of the same stainless steel that is used for the Merta panel, and it's put on the floor of the pool. This also is laminated with a hard sheet of PVC, exactly the same as the Merta panel, making the whole panel, the whole floor 1 millimeter in thickness.
Just to touch on the options of the textured PVC, are there different colors available?
Of course, the standard Merta Evolution comes in white, blue, or black, while the textured PVC can be had in different kinds of textures. So you can have these stone finishes which resemble a marble, for example, or natural stone. So any type of finish that the customer may require can be had with this type of finish. The Merta skin as well will be available in different colors. Those will be coming later this year. How we do the waterproofing. This is probably the most interesting part of the technology because unlike many other technologies that are available on the market, we always do a double waterproofing, whether it is the PVC floors that we have seen before or the Merta panels themselves. As we have said before, the Merta panel is constituted by modular panels of 90 centimeters in width, which are bolted together. So there's no actual mechanical welding. The panels have a joint every 90 centimeters, as can be seen in the photo on your right. And what we do, we put some liquid PVC, which melts down the PVC on the panel in order to constitute a chemical welding, or also known as cold welding. Then we put in a PVC profile, as is seen in the photograph, which constitutes also a mechanical waterproofing. So we're actually doubling the waterproofing properties of the Merta system. The floor is practically the same. We actually hot weld the PVC membrane, one sheet with another, by superimposing by 5 centimeters the sheets of PVC. And then we also provide a cold welding through the means of the same liquid PVC that is used to weld the Merta panels. So once again, also the floor has a double waterproofing. So let's see what we have done around Africa mainly, because since we are in Africa, we like to show what kind of projects we have done so far, and hopefully in the future we'll do some new ones with your help. These are some of the iconic projects that we have done in the competitions. One of the most recent ones is this one in Côte d'Or in Mauritius. It's made up of two competition pools. One is a fully fledged Olympic pool, 2 meters deep, which was used for the Indian Ocean Island Games in 2019. And on the back, in the photo at the bottom, you can see another 50-meter pool, which was actually made more interesting for us because it's only 135-meter in depth. The reason for this is that the management of the facility wanted to have a pool where they could also train future swimmers. So having just a 2-meter deep pool would have not made it possible. That's why they went for a shallower pool, which gives them more flexibility. In 1998, we also provided 3 competition pools for the All-African Games, and these are installed in Senegal at the Dakar facility. Again, we have a fully fledged 50-meter pool, Olympic. We have a diving pool, and unfortunately not in this photograph, you cannot see the 25-meter pool that also was provided in this facility. Nigeria in 2004, Port Harcourt. This is a university as well, and has 4 Merta pools of different sizes and depths. Also a diving pool was provided in this facility, and it's used for semi-professional and professional swimming. We are not only about competition pools, although many of our customers know us for that because Merta Pools is related to FINA, as it is a partner of FINA, so the International Swimming Federation. We also do a lot of projects in hotels and residential, some of them which have become some iconic projects that you can also find on our website. So this one in particular is in Alger, close to the new airport that has been finished in 2020. This is a Merta pool on the 3rd floor of the hotel. And what the architect requested was to have a finish completely different from what is our standard. So in this case, you can see there is mosaic. So there is the possibility of having also more, let's say, not unusual finishes, more, let's say, prominent finishes like you would find in some other concrete pools or other technologies available. This one is a residential pool in South Africa. We finished in 2017. It actually won the prize as best project, African project in 2018. The building that you see on the back is actually a restaurant, which also has been considered one of the best restaurants in South Africa. And this is a pool that is actually used for multi-purpose. So it's for recreational purposes, but as well for training purposes. It's only 150 meters in depth in the deepest end of the pool. And it also has an area for beds immersed in 20 centimeters of water. Changing a part of the world, we wanted to show you this one because we haven't done anything like this at the moment in Africa. You can see that this has a metacrylate window in the front of the pool, so it's transparent. It can be seen, you can see inside of the pool from the outside. And it's located in Mexico at Punta Mita, and it's a W hotel. So we're talking about luxurious hotels that go with the Merta system because of its flexibility. So what I was telling you at the beginning, the lightweight factor of the Merta pool being 1/5 of a concrete pool allows it to be easily installed also on sand, as can be seen on this photograph. We also have a lot of leisure projects. We are now coming back closer to us here in Italy. This is a very interesting project because it was an old Merta pool that we constructed at the beginning of the 1990s. And it was 2 meters in depth, but obviously the market has changed and the type of customers that go to these kind of facilities has changed too. So it's mainly families that are going to campings. So what we did a complete refurbishment, and that means that we filled in with lightweight concrete the bottom of the pool, elevating the surface and creating a shallower area, and then adding the toys that you can see here that are provided by Merta pools. So we can also provide a fully fledged pool for families and for leisure purposes. This was one of the most interesting projects that we have done in the last 10 years. This is the casino in Macau called Galaxy. What you see there on the top side of this presentation is a river. It's a lazy river. It's 1.2 kilometers in length in total. So we're talking about around 3 kilometers in total of Merta panels. It has, if I remember correctly, about 200 LED lights that change color throughout the night and the day whenever it's required to for amusement purposes. And this is built on top of the casino. So underneath this river, you have actually the casino. So it's very important that there is no leakage. And as we have seen, the Merta pool does guarantee this kind of characteristic. And again, the lightweight nature of the structure allows it to be easily installed in this kind of situation. On the bottom, still on top of the casino, you can see a wave pool, also provided by Mirta. So now I would leave the floor to Rafael Ruiz, who is our sales engineer, and he will go through on some of the solution provider for the technology Mirta.
Good morning to everybody. I'm pleased to be in this presentation with such a big group of people who are interested in learning some more about Mirta and how to collaborate with us, we hope. My presentation will be based on the main advantages in the customer or architects, engineers, and whoever can have by working with us. These are, we have separated them into these two. Just a moment, I have to share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see it. Good. And there are two main points we would like to. Okay. Nell'altro, no? Qua. No, ce l'ho già, full.
No, non sei in full.
Come? C'è la presentazione qui in fondo. Ah, qua, scusa, sì. Ok. Okay, I hope you can see it better now. So there are two main points I would like to talk with, which is the way we present to our customers, what we represent for them. And we are one part as solution provider and a system integrator. Why we are a solution provider? We consider that in the terms that we fully understand our customers' needs and can support them in optimizing the pool design, guaranteeing a perfect installation at the end of the cycle. In terms of respect of the pool dimensions, structural steadiness, and of course, the waterproofing of the pool. Regarding the system integrator, we always have in mind that we are not a standalone product. So our pool is part of a bigger reality, which is the whole building. So especially during the design process, which is the part you are more interested in, I think, we can interact closely with the architects, engineers, and decision makers in order to integrate our solution inside the whole building design. We are solution providers because we have several topics I'd like to explain. First one is our modularity, as Ricardo told before. We have panels which are 900 millimeters wide, and our gutter sections are 1800 millimeters long. As you can see, I'm talking about millimeters and not centimeters, of course. It means that we have a very high precision during manufacturing, which is plus minus 0.5 millimeters. This precision, it's always also achieved during the installation, and we can guarantee a plus minus 5 millimeters on a 50-meter pool. So it means that the great advantage is that that pool can be homologated by FINA for the competitions, all kinds of competitions, included World Championships and Olympic Games. The precision it's achieved also in normal pools, let's say, not for competitions, where it's not necessary to have that kind of tolerance, but we can respect anyhow the whole design as this was thinked. The logistic is another important point because we having those modular panels and components, we can easily pack them, ship them, and also have a very easy site handling. We can use, for example, elevators inside the pool site to move the materials. And also we can have a very fast and precise installation. Our pool is a kind of, let's say, a meccano. You put together all the pieces by bolting them at the pool site. So you don't need special big pieces to be sent to the pool site. For the very first beginning of our design, we supply what are the concrete works interfaces. For us, for that normal pool, when it is on ground, we just need a perimeter curb, as you can see here in the picture, made of reinforced structural concrete. And it is made to absorb the load that the pool will transfer to the floor at the anchor points. We show the minimum curb dimensions and the structure related loads, and all of them are shown in our drawings. We don't require any structural slab in the rest of the pool, let's say in the middle of the pool, because if you have a normal soil, it will naturally absorb the weight of the water it has above. So in that case, you can use even just sand, compacted soil, compacted soil, or just a thin concrete screed that can. We have a question from Ricardo, please.
Yeah, the fact that we are providing all these structural calculations, it means that we don't need a structural engineer to actually work on the pool. Is that correct?
Correct, exactly. Yeah, I will talk later about the static calculations we do. And as you say, we don't need any structural engineer to calculate the pool structure. With those loads, of course, the structural engineer from the customer has to calculate only the concrete works.
So, Rafael, that means that the architect is actually saving money on the structural calculations in themselves.
Yeah, sure. Perfect. Good point. We also supply in our drawings the exact position of all the anchors, so that the constructor can know exactly where to avoid putting the rebars for the reinforced concrete. And it will ease the pool installation because we will avoid any kind of clash during drilling the curb. We have some, one of our key points is the fact that we can supply special solutions, because the flexibility of our technology and let's say the professionality and creativity of our staff can supply tailor-made solutions for almost, and I will remove also the word almost, any situation. So we have a large database of successful cases, and the picture in the screen shows, for example, an ultralight modular self-standing waterproof stairs, which was used for a diving pool complying with the FINA regulations.
So this section here is not a standard. This was required by the final client for what reason?
Because they had a pool, it was made in Cochabamba, Bolivia, for the Pan American Games. And so they had to do this to respect the FINA regulations. So for diving pools, you need this kind of stairs underneath the platforms and springs. And of course, you can make it in concrete, you can make it in with some other materials, but then it is much heavy. It takes much long time for installation, and it is at the end much more expensive, surely. We can supply also filtration and disinfection plants with both classic sand filters or cutting-edge regenerative media filters, mainly the perlite. We also supply chlorine-based disinfection, UV lamps, salt electrolysis equipment, and many other kind of equipment that you may imagine or you may need. We can adapt our layout to the available space in the building and give also advice to the architect to calculate and optimize the plant room. Here, it's an example of one of our successful installations. And the big advantage of supplying both the Mirta pool structure and the filtration plant is that the customer can have one only supplier, or we call it a one-stop shop. So you know that all the responsibility of the installation of the pool and the filtration plant will be ours, and we will guarantee for everything in that case. In order to achieve the best quality of our filtration and circulation equipment, we do what we call the CFD, the computational fluid dynamics. It is an analysis that simulates the behavior of the water flow inside the pool when the filtration plant is working, of course. It is based on the position and type of the circulation fittings. I will talk later about them, which are the inlets, the gutter drains or skimmers, and the bottom drains, and other filtration plant parameters, such as the pool flow rate, the head loss related to the filters and other features, pipe diameters, and we take into account everything, the whole design of the filtration and circulation equipment for this one. We use a powerful state-of-the-art modeling software, which we usually run at night because it takes a long time to do this kind of analysis. And it leads us to optimize the number and position of the fittings. And it brings forward the results of the dye test, allowing us to apply corrections if anything didn't work at the first attempt. Our circulation is based on special designed wall inlets, which has adjustable inserts and optimized flow directions, which push the water flow towards the pool floor, so as to avoid any kind of disturbance to the swimmers. Yeah.
Yeah. So this can you confirm that this system was actually invented in order to avoid disturbance of the swimmers for competition pools? So FINA was asking a way to keep the circulation during the competitions rather than turning it off, in order to keep the water very clear for taking images underwater as we see today in the competitions.
Exactly, good point. Yeah. And also we wanted to avoid any kind of claim for some teams. There was a case in Barcelona that the team that didn't want one of the races, they tried to claim us on their accesses because they said that there were some turbulence inside the pool, some currents that were kind of stopping their swimmers to go faster. And we could demonstrate it wasn't true, because using this kind of system that were first verified by the CFD and then demonstrated by the dye test, we could demonstrate that our pool was perfectly balanced and there were no any kind of disturbance to the swimmers.
So these not only avoid turbulences within the pool, but these kind of inlets also allows us to have a better circulation, so even better hygiene within the pool. So less chlorine also, probably.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because we avoid any dead point, and so the water flow will reach every the farthest corners of the pool, so that you don't need, let's say, to make the water pass twice inside the pool to reach every single angle. As we talked before, and Ricardo introduced this topic, we do the static structure calculation, what it is called the FEM, it is finite element method. And it consists of the two mainly analyses based on two different parameters. One is what we call the ELS, extreme loading of structures, and the other one is the ULS, the ultimate limit state. So with these two methods, we can guarantee that the deflections of the panels or the movements of our self-supporting structure, like the vertical frames and buttresses, are within a certain parameters we decided before. And also that the material is behaving inside their, how to say,
Working plan.
The working plan. So we are avoiding any kind of issue during the pool operation. And of course, we can assure that the structure will not collapse. We can add to this analysis also the parts of the seismic loads, which has to be given by the customer according to the local norms for every area of the country or the city. It depends on how it works. So once we have those parameters, we can include them in our calculations. And if it's necessary, not always, we can reinforce our structure to avoid any kind of issue at the end.
So once again, we are talking about avoiding the intervention of a structural engineer and providing the full package to the architect with a big saver of money.
Sure, you're right. Now we pass to the second big point, which is why we are a system integrator. And as I said before, we have to work with you, with the architects and with distributor agents and all decision makers, everyone who is on the other side. And we have to integrate our pool inside the building. We can start from the design integration using AutoCAD into the program, or now we are almost using, let's say, our 80% of our projects are made with 3D modeling, and we use, for example, the Revit software to this scope. The pool has to be designed according to its architectural context. So from the very first stages of the design, it is crucial to communicate with the architects and engineers on the customer side. We use their architectural and structural drawings as a background and integrate our pool in this context so that we can define the interfaces with the concrete works. We can also get to know which are the minimum spaces for installation and avoid any likely clash with other critical points we might find out. The advantage is that we can co-work with the customer from the beginning with the design team and can give support from the initial sketches, or what we call the concept drawings, to the final executive drawings, what we call the general layouts and finalized 3D models. So on any of these stage of the design, you can contact us and we will be available and happy to help you. For some years, you have heard about this new system protocol, this program called BIM. It's a Building Information Modeling. So it is not only an iteration of the 3D models, but we have some more other information that we want to share with the rest of the players that are working on the pool site, on the pool design. The Building Information Modeling is an intelligent 3D model. It is based on processes that give architecture, engineering, and construction professionals the insight and tools to have a more efficient plan, design, construction, and managing of the buildings. It is the 3D models and further information, as I said before, which are, for example, technical specifications, life cycle management, green map features, and so on. And with the BIM, you can integrate all the players, which can, all the main contractors and all the subcontractors, like the water supply, electric power, gas, heating, of them.
So once again, since we are providing the pool with all the BIM elements, there is no need for the architect or from an external company to provide that information into the pool construction, because we are providing already the model and all that information.
Yeah, depending on the stage we are talking about, we can supply what it is called the LOD, the level of development or level of detail. No, it's both the development or detail, yeah. And so we at each stage what it is needed. At the beginning, maybe we just need say a rough shape of the pool, and then we are getting the detailed design. We have to provide everything, all the necessary information you need. And that's a great advantage, of course. And BIM has become mandatory for public new buildings in some countries like UK and France, and it is quickly spreading worldwide. So we hope that also in Africa, and I work, for example, in Spain, and they still are not at that level, but little by little we are using it everywhere. Once we have finished the design process, and let's say we have the drawings and the model approved by the customer, we pass to an internal process which is called the design verification. So we take all the components of the pool and we create a 3D virtual assembly or installation of the pool, which is shown here. And we did by the means of the software Inventor. Inventor gives you also, as you can see on the right side of the page of the screen, the codes for each part, so that we can completely check if there is any kind of clashing, if there is any parts missing. And also once everything has been verified, we can export all the codes to a BOM, a bill of materials, which will be sent to production. And then the whole drawings will be sent also to the pool site. The main advantage of this point is that we can guarantee a total quality. There will be no flaws. And also we will have a very time reduction during the design and also installation. The last point is the green map. There's a lot of talk about this topic right now. So the green map is related to the whole building. It is a program which has been installed in some different countries. And Myrtha contributes to the whole building to obtain what it called the so-called credits or issues, depending on the program they're using. And we contribute in these main points: integrative process, water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, indoor environmental quality, innovation. I can't go through them because it will be too go. The green maps, the main programs we have in the world are the LEED, BREEAM, and Green Star, which are worldwide acknowledged. So I want to finish my presentation, just say that Mirta is present in every stage of the design, the manufacturing, the installation and commissioning, and also after sales of the pool. And we can supply continuous support when needed to the architects and our clients in general. So that's all. And now I to give floor to Clement, who will talk about another topic.
Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you so much, Rafael, for the presentation. And I leave it to Clement to take over.
Yeah. Hello, Lani. Hello, Ricardo. Bonjour, Madame, Messieurs. Good morning, everybody. I'll share my screen. I have a little presentation. Can anyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go. I'll skip the first slides because you already introduced the Chaban Architecture Office in France. Just one word about it. It's a company with 150 architects and engineers, because as you've seen, swimming pools are very technical, and we are doing a complex project such as hospitals and swimming pools and anything with engineering added value. But for now, I will just focus on one study case, swimming pool we are actually conceiving and building in Bordeaux. It's one of the biggest cities in France, in the southwest coast. And I'll just play a little movie. It's just 2 minutes long, but it shows you the project, so you can have an overview. Okay. It's a 9,000 square meters Olympic pool. So it's a fairly big swimming pool for France, with a 50 meters long Olympic pool. You can see here from the entrance lobby. 1,200 spectators can sit on the bleachers on this side. On top of the grandstand, you can see there is also a movable floor at the and welcome children, have different activities. Like the VIP lodge, top can watch and having inside some place. Okay, so that was an overall presentation. So you've seen there is not just sports, but also fun, leisure, and surf. But for now, we'll focus on the Olympic pool with the restaurant on top of it, the spa, and the water jump we'll talk about later. But the main feature of this project, this 9,000 square meter project, was the 50 meters long Olympic pool. So here it is, with the warm-up pool on the outside. The two swimming pools are aligned so that when you're inside the lobby hall, the entrance, and you have a look at the swimming pool, it looks like it's more than a swimming pool. It's like a channel because it goes even beyond the swimming pool. There is another pool, and the bleachers on the side are perfectly aligned with the rugby grandstand. So it really looks like the whole thing is keeps on going on the outside on the landscape. So it's more like a channel than a swimming pool. On top of the bleachers, on each side, there is on one side the restaurant, on the other side the fitness room. Both can be used as a VIP lodge to watch the competition. So it's very important because it's like a feast. It's like a big party, a competition, and people will closely watch the people swimming, but they'll also go for a meal or have a drink or celebrate the victory of their athletes. So there is conviviality in sports, and those bleachers are meant for that. And those two VIP lodge on top of it makes the show better. So it's all about having a good time watching competition. It's all about visual. It's all about having the best vision from the restaurant or from the grandstand into the Olympic pool. And for that, you need to bring the light from the side of the pool. The spectators, they cannot have the lights in front of them, or they'll have a flare. The sun will make the vision to the pool not good. So it's important that the natural light come from the side of on the side of the bleachers, perpendicular. And that's why working with Mirta Pool on that project was really important, because it's all about having the best watch at the competition, having the best watch at the Olympic pool, and also beyond the water surface. You need to see to the bottom of the pool. That's why we chose the lightest hue that Mirta Pool technology provide. So that was interesting for us to use. I know, Ricardo, you don't want to call it a liner, but let's call it that super liner. And we took the white one. When you look at the pool, because it's 3 meters deep and filled with water, it still looks blue, but it's the lightest we can have. And so you have the best view to the bottom of the swimming pool. And it's very important when you're watching, let's say, water polo or artistic swimming. And beside that, we have a TV camera inside the swimming pool to watch competition from a submarine point of view. So perfect vision outside and inside the water was essential. Another point about the vision and it is essential, is for the lifeguards. So for the Olympic pool as well as the warm-up pool, they need to have the best view again to the bottom of the swimming pool, because so the first thing to do is to have and especially the outside pool, because in the winter when it's cold there is steam above it, so you need to put the pool, the longest part of the rectangle, as close as possible to where the lifeguards are standing, and they usually stand right beside the canopy on the south facade to be protected from the sun. Sometimes it's too cold, so they go inside, so it's even more important than that the swimming pool is placed with the long side close to the facade. And again, Mirta pool technology is helping with that, because compared to other technology like the one on top, you will have a Mirta pool superliner will give us a better view down and to the on the water and below the water. You will have less glare, less flare, less reflection, and lifeguards are very interested by that. Again, on that project, it's a specific point, but there was like a underground river just underneath where we wanted to build this swimming pool. So Mirta pool technology, so we had to put the project a little bit above the natural ground, and as you can see, the two swimming pools are the technical corridors underneath the swimming pool. They are like dipping into this underground river. And one thing we wanted to avoid was to have the water treatment on most technology goes underneath the swimming pool. You have to plug pipes underneath the swimming pool, but Mirta technology offers some solution to have them plugged on the side. So we avoided here to have them underneath the pool. So we avoided some waterproofing of the underneath of the pool, and so it's cost saving. We save some money on that. Again, when we think about money, we think about...
Sorry.
Yeah?
Sorry, may I ask you a question? Have you actually calculated how much you have made as a saving by using this technology compared to a standard technology?
I couldn't say right now, but remember it's 50 meters by 25 square meters swimming pool, so that's a lot. That's a big surface. Okay, I can give you more precise number right now, but perhaps I can write back to you later.
Okay. I think it's very interesting also for our guests to know how they can save, not only because most of the time they look at the price of the pool without considering the whole project. So it's very important that they understand the point of view that you're providing, which is you can make savings on other parts, which are even more important than the pool itself.
Yeah, because waterproofed concrete is very expensive. Another thing that was interesting is that the Olympic Federation and FINA are asking for space. You know, we always say it's a 25 meters by 50 meters pool, but it's not exactly true. It's more than 25 meters wide, because Olympic and FINA until now were asking to add in between 20 and 50 centimeters on the side. And one of the reasons they asked for that extra large part of water is because there is a lot of things on the side, and especially ladders. But Mirta pool can do ladders like you can see on the image. They are integrated into the wall. So you don't really need those 20 centimeters or 50 centimeters to have a real 250 line. And this is very interesting because you're saving again a lot of water. That's 1 meter by 50 meter by 3, so it's 150 cubic meter of water every day during the whole life of the building. So that's what you can see here. You don't need those 50 meters on each side, so you save 1 meter of width. Instead of 26 meters, you'll be 25 meters for real. And having 25 meters can also allow you to save on the movable wall, because they were asking for a movable wall that would separate the swimming pool in two, so that when there is not Olympic Games, but people training, you can have two more or less 25 meters long swimming pools for training. But if you don't have those extra 50 centimeters on each side of the pool, well, you don't need that movable wall, because you can do your 25 meters on the width. It's really 25 meters and not 26. So you can train with the real distances. So that's another way of saving money too. And FINA is going that way, because they on a previous Mirta Pool webinar, I heard they were going for that. I didn't have the conclusion, but that's the way they are moving right now. Another thing I can say about Mirta Pool technology, but Raphael has already talked about it, and it was a excellent and very complete presentation. So I will go fast on those images. But yeah, Mirta Pool is has a real expertise, and even though at Shaban Architect we've built more than 50 public swimming pools facilities, we still discover new things, and having the help of Mirta Pool on design and build is very important for us, because we're still learning. Even after 50 swimming pools, we still the technology is still evolving, and Mirta Pool is really helping with that, making the right choice. Having, for example, standing free swimming pool, or having concrete wall being the structure, they can help you choose the most efficient and most cost-saving solution. And their engineers are really good at helping. And with everything, I mean, a swimming pool, there's so many things to think, and it's good to have a knowledgeable company helping during the design process and during the building process. As you can see, I mean, we talked about a rectangular pool, but there is some more complex shapes and geometry, and on the upper left side you have water bubble massages, seats and stuff like that. So many things to see, and so many new things to see each time. So design and build, that's one of the most valuable input by Mirta Pool. Another thing that is very much appreciated is that I mean, you can still design with them. They will help you choose the right channel. We call it a goulotte in French. So that's where you get the water to go to the water treatment. Let's call it water treatment channels. There's many kind of them, more or less wide. You can also design with them some very specific handrail. You can choose the bottom superliner to make it more or less soft, depending on the activities of the swimming pool, and it's very, very appreciated by the users to the Mirta Pool very soft and elastic bottom superliner. Sorry, Ricardo, I don't know how to call it now.
No, we call it the soft walker actually, but it's actually a very nice term to call it a super liner. We like that. We probably will adopt it for the future.
Okay. Yeah, I remember some examples, or in some swimming pools we had 2 different depths like this one, and we had a big slope joining the 2 depths, but you know, they advised us that the more reduced the slope would be, it's the red part on the plan, the most costless it would be. So they can help you make it less expensive too by giving you good advice while designing the swimming pool. And you know, even a rectangular pool, there's many things to think, and not just the FINA regulation, but so many. So they can really provide good advice on that, because a rectangular pool can also be more than a rectangular pool. Now we use a lot of inflatable devices to make a sport pool, a rectangular pool, something more like a leisure pool during the summer, where all the kids are not going to school anymore and they want to have fun, and it's sort of their holidays to go to the swimming pool. So you can, with the good anchors, with the good design of a rectangular pool, you can make it a really fun pool without adding any more curvy shapes. You can also make it activity pool by either using a movable floor, or choosing the right depth. I mean, 130, 135 is very good for aqua biking, and you can still swim in such a swimming pool. You can even make it a movie theater house. So they can help you think about everything that a pool can be, and it can be much more than a swimming pool. And I will just end my presentation on those words.
Clement, that was really fantastic. Thank you very much. It's really insightful, and it gives a perfect idea of the things that can be achieved with an aquatic facility. I think that the people who are attending here haven't had a chance of seeing such facilities, such wonderful facilities, and I invite them to contact us in order maybe to make also some relationship with your company, with your firm, in order to get some feedback and some further information from you, and probably create a cooperation in the future to achieve this kind of facility or in Africa as well. Because we have seen in Africa, unfortunately, that they are mainly thinking of the competition pools, so 50-meter pools, 2 meters deep, which are hugely expensive, and they don't think about that kind of flexibility that you're talking about, which is so important, and I think can provide a lot more to the countries that we're working in. So thank you once again for attending and for explaining all this to our public.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure. So nobody has come up with questions during the presentations. Do we have anyone who wants to ask a question to us, to Clement?
I do, actually. I have one question. Clement, just to touch briefly, how important was it to work with an all-around company on a project of this caliber?
It's so important because, I mean, let's remember that 99.9% of the problem, of the troubles you'll have building a project has to do with water, okay? And when you're doing a swimming pool, you're putting the water on the core of your building, so you're really looking for trouble. So if you have something that's really master the main part where the water is, which is the swimming pool itself, and have them on your side design and build and just give it to you like a finished swimming pool, and you just have to plug your engineering on it, is like I mean, it's just great. And it's a lot less trouble for the 50 years of the future life of the swimming pool facility. I mean, And of course, you need people with who have a sense of dialogue. I mean, even though we are half engineers, we need this constant exchange of ideas, and there's not one swimming pool that is the same as another one. So we still are doing research, and it's good to have you on our side too, because you do too, and perhaps a lot more than we do.
Andrew Marama has a question. Andrew, would you like to place your question?
Yes, please. I would like to just do a little bit of contribution towards the Raphael's presentation. I've noted that there was the issue which he discussed about the fact that is an element of cost saving, and this omission of the input for the engine. I don't know actually the kind of experience you had in South Africa, but I know in East Africa, as well as the Central Africa, the issue of inclusion of other professions to do with the, building the facility or design is a paramount importance. Having in mind that a swimming pool, which
sorry,
is termed...
Andrew, I can't hear you properly.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear them?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, maybe Andrew, if I find if you take your video off, the connection helps with.
Okay, right. Maybe
yeah.
if you is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it's better now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually putting my contribution with regard to usage of other consultants as well, particularly the engineer when it comes to the issues of design, because I think there was an emphasis of the fact that you may end up actually doing the cuts saving costs for that particular input. But what I want actually to emphasize on this particular part of Africa is the fact that a swimming pool is termed as a public kind of facility, which in essence it is actually supposed to be backed up by the liability issues. And the issues of liability issues also, they deal with the jurisdiction of the local authority. So the way I see it, you may end up in a situation, if you deal in this part of Africa, you may end up actually in a situation whereby you definitely need the input of the engineer, regardless of the fact that whether the swimming pool facility is lighter or the architect can tackle that issue without the input of that. But you would definitely need the okay from the engineer as well. That's my input actually I wanted to mention to you.
Okay, you mean for the calculations of the structure of the Mirta structure in that case?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, it depends, as you say, on the country. For example, now in UK, we're working with local engineers for some special solutions that are apart from, let's say, our standard ones. And so in that case, we need a fully approved homologation by the local technician and also the local regulation. So in that case, yeah, I don't know if you talk also about a normal structure, which we have already produced 1,000s of times. But if it is necessary, of course, we have to involve also an engineer.
Those ones, I think, it's not actually reinventing another wheel, but I think it's they go ahead, because the engineer will just need to vet your calculations, to give an okay that is in order based on the parameters which are required under the jurisdiction in this particular part of the world.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's part of our integration design with the local engineers. So we supply drawings and also calculations, everything.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful. If that's Andrew, the case, that's okay.
If I may jump in on this, because I've worked on several projects in Africa, and it's the same all over the world, even in France. So where we say you have the cost saving is actually that we are providing all the statical calculations of the pool and also of the equipment that is provided. and we hand them over to the engineering company or to the architectural company that has also an engineering field inside its own company. Sometimes the companies are very large and have these capabilities. So they take those structural calculations and they just have to verify them. They don't need to do them from scratch, which is going to be time consuming and a lot more expensive. So because I work with quantity surveys as well, what we have seen in the past, they were actually quantifying double the cost, because they were looking at, we have to do all the engineering calculations for the Merta structure ourselves, and this is going to be one cost, and then we have the Merta pool cost to add on it, which is not the case. They have to actually deduct those engineering costs because we are already providing them within our price range. There is where you have the big price saving. And when working with quantity surveys, this is very important to emphasize, because otherwise you'll end up, I will tell you, oh, you're simply too expensive because you're using a very exotic material. And it is not. What we're trying to explain here is that we are actually supplying a lot more than the structural elements. It's mainly providing the complete engineering of the system.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. And just to add on that, I don't believe and I don't think that the quantity surveyor should be the one actually, putting a comment on, your input as an architect or engineer, because you know exactly what actually you're trying to get to. Their input is actually, it has to do only with cost issues rather than actually the design factors.
I perfectly agree with you. So I hope that we'll be working with you very soon.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot for your question. Anyone else? Okay, so we see that we don't have any further questions. So I'll leave it to Lani to close this meeting, thank you for participating.
So thank you all. Sorry again about the little technical issues I had at the beginning, but we're very happy that you could all take the time today to join us. Special thank you again to Clement. Always a pleasure. And we had a great time. We hope that you all did as well. If you want to take part again next week, same place, same time, but different language. So thank you all. Looking forward to meeting you all in the future, and have a great weekend. Thank you.